Although Dan Jacobson may be in the later years of his life, in the early morning hours, he still pushes himself.
I have been working with Dan for the past couple of months. He's quite the morning person, very spunky. He is super fun to see at 8 a.m. in the morning.
At age 70, Jacobson has been training.
They work me really hard, and it's a lot of things that are, that you used to be able to do that feel so uncomfortable when you start doing them again. I mean, everything from squats to touching your toes to bending over backwards and getting your flexibility and balance all back together, because it falls away.
But this sweat equity is essential to stay sharp for his longtime passion.
Well, at first he said he would like to get back to biking, and I just assumed pedal biking. And later on in the eval, I was like, oh, he's talking about motorcycles. That's so cool.
For 50 years, motorcycle racing has been a big part of Jacobson's life, starting back when he was just a teenager.
I bought a motorcycle and I drove it. It was a street legal motorcycle. Bought it out riding around, having kind of fun. I said, let's give this thing a whirl here. Let's go out there to the fairgrounds and try that out. And so I took all the extra parts, the lights and the bells and the whistles off my little Honda and went out there and started going around in circles and going, this is kind of fun. I'm not too bad at this. I think I can figure this out. And so it was like one year led to the next.
There was an attraction to come up to Fargo in the winter, especially because of the indoor at the West Fargo Indoor, which was pretty famous. And that's the first time that I met Dan and raced with him and that kind of thing. He was one of the guys up here that you had to beat, and he was fast.
It was pretty inexpensive. I mean, the motorcycles weren't very much. I mean, they were a couple $1,000 and you could have a pretty competitive bike.
Back when we raced, it was a brotherhood, where each person had his van. You lived in it, you cooked in it, you slept in it, and your motorcycles were in the van.
We had a lot of races that we did, and it was almost every single weekend all summer long. Well, this one here is one of my favorite shots right here. This is the Minneapolis Armory, which is now a music venue, but we used to race in there for over a decade. To win there is just the most incredible feeling ever.
He got better and better at taming the torque, eventually making the jump from amateur to pro, learning all the different nuances on how to stay as fast or faster than the competition.
You think, oh, I'm just as good as they are. Oh, they're about that much better than you are. Cars are here, motorcycles are way up here. The intensity of that whole feel of the balance, the control, the traction, the throttle, all of those things, all of those components are at such a higher definition level than anything else.
After a break for a while in the 1980s, he eventually got back on the seat. Over time, the sport took a physical toll, and there's plenty of marks and scars to prove it.
Yeah, I've been injured a lot of times, 28 different broken bones over the years. Some of them take a little longer to recover from.
He fell off on the front straightaway and got ran over, and it broke his arm like right off. And I looked at the splint. I could see the bone sticking out of the arm and the blood all around it and everything. But he was tough. He never said a word.
When he's on the track, there's some nerves about it, yes, but he's so happy doing it, and you have to encourage him doing it, and you can't make him sit in a lazy boy and not do it. That would be worse.
I usually don't fall down anymore, but I bring it right to that edge. I'm not afraid to get out there and mix it up.
And as almost all of his old rivals parked their bikes due to age and injuries, Jacobson has found a way to keep the throttle in high gear.
I went with him out to Sturgis 3 years ago when he went out there, and I helped him in the pits and that, and he was fast. He hasn't forgot anything.
If I was going to keep racing on a pro level like that, I didn't expect to live past 30. So I got 40 bonus years now.
I would have never ever dreamed myself racing at 70. It just, that wasn't in the cards whatsoever at all. It was like Jake, I was hoping to still be alive.
After months of training, Jacobson put the leathers back on again in February, hitting the track for what he called his final motorcycle race at Flat Out Friday in Milwaukee. there was a new master's class added for ages 60 plus, and he couldn't pass up the chance to go win another title.
Well, here we go. We're going racing.
This is what I love. I love racing indoor cement racetracks with Dr. Pepper dry on there, sticky as heck.
Dan Jacobson jumps out in front.
Just going there and racing in front of that many people in that kind of facility is such a rush. And I had never had that opportunity to do that because of other events that I had right around the same time that they were having the race.
After winning his heat, Jacobson started in front of the main event. There were some close calls along the way, but the speed was still there. And after some delays while fending off other contenders, he took the checkered flag for yet another victory in his long storied racing career.
I've been around the block for a while.
This one's for the wise guys, right? Woo! Make some noise one more time for Dan Robbie!
It's another trophy to add to a room full of memories, but as to whether or not that truly was his swan song, well, there's still a lot of doubt.
Nobody believes me anymore when I say I'm going to retire. They say, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Pretty soon spring's gonna come, and then it's summertime, and the guys are all going racing, and there'll be another event that's just perfect for him. That's exactly how this is gonna go down.
You can't take it out of him. It's an integral part of who he is. He can't stay slow that long. He's got to do something fast. He's got to get that adrenaline going.
That win at Flat Out Friday ended up being extra special for Jacobson. Just 10 minutes after taking the checkered flag, Dan's first grandchild was welcomed into the world. And as you can see, baby Charlotte was dressed and ready to meet her grandpa for the first time.
This has been Midco Sports Magazine, presented by Build Your Base with Beef Sports Nutrition and Training Program.